So g'day punters, it's Mark here. We're just going to run through with Trevor Lawson today, a bit of a look at his typical day on the punt and how he goes about things, just to give members a bit of an idea of how Trevor attacks the day and their options for doing the same. So Trev's with me now. How you going, Trev?
Good, Mark.
It's Monday. We're recording this, so I thought we'll basically just go through a typical day on the punt for you. So we'll use Saturday. It was a pretty good example of generally how you'll go about things. Saturday at the Valley. How busy in terms of betting you are, I guess, varies. We spoke about last week about how you're pretty selective when it comes to the punt.
It just depends on the races. So this time of year, I don't really bet in the 2-year-olds. Thursday we had two 2-year-old races, and then just a lot of races just early on in the early on in the spring, and then early on in sort of the autumn carnival. You get a lot of horses resuming from the spell. And so it can be sort of tricky, sort of how well how you sort of price them, and also the yard's got a lot to do with how well they've come back, whether they're fit and things like that. So it can be sort of not quite as many races as normal, and then the odds as well. In an ideal world, you'd sort of bet every race, but sort of made it hard nowadays with the percentages they bet.
Yeah, as we said, it's not necessarily about picking winners, is it? It's all about value.
That's right. Yeah, you've got to take you need to get the right odds and get overs.
Yeah, so I thought we'll just run through these are the updates in the tips feed that members see that you send out each race day. As I said, Saturday a fairly typical day, so we'll run through that. I'm just in the tips feed here, and we've got Trev, Alfie, and Gareth's updates. I've just got Trev's highlighted, so we can only see Trev's at the moment. The first note or messages that people normally see of the day is just this pretty standard message here, which is just gives people the links to download the race day sheets for your stuff, for your rated prices. So you can get the ratings in both PDF and Excel. The Excel sheet is interactive, and you can use that to track your betting throughout the day. We'll actually just go through that a little bit later, I think. But the other sheet you get here is the speed maps that you send out. The speed maps themselves are just for everyone's information, and I think they're relatively self-explanatory in terms of speed maps. Would you agree?
Yeah. So they go left to right. So left. So the horses in the left are the lead horses, and the horses that so the leaders in the last race there were Rambler, Rebel, and Loving Laughs. Sometimes you see little things. It's just the gear changes. So if you can see Serious Liaison, which is on the fence in the 27 column. The numbers down the bottom, that's just something I use to it's a speed map figure that I use. It's got nothing to do with anything else. It's nothing to do with punting form or anything else. It's just something that I sort of picked up off someone and I just went with it. So I just have the gear change to the bottom. So it just says N roll on. So that's just nose roll on. Others will say it'll be B1, which is blinkers first time. B again, blinkers again. B off is blinkers off. So they just come into the database automatically, and then I just sort of have them as an abbreviation. So Rambler Rebels X off, which is crossover noseband off. So there's nothing really to worry about too much. You can actually see them if you go to the form guide or go to right, you can actually see the gear changes themselves. Or in the Herald Sun, in the paper they have them as well. So but it's just something I just have on the map.
Yeah,
just plain sort of thing. So
so with the tabs along the bottom here, they're just the races for the day, and you'll be able to get Trev's own speed map for each of them. You can get speed maps from a few different places. A lot of places have them now online, but we're pretty happy to use yours personally. So I'll just scroll up a bit here in the feed, and this is generally this Moonee Valley today. This is normally a post that'll be the next thing that comes through from you. I think it's
I can generally send
just
it out. So
yeah,
the prices come out around 10 o'clock. Just depends on the meeting
yep,
and how I've got it done. And then normally after I send something, I just send this out, which is just basically a bit of a synopsis of how I see the day going.
yeah. It gives everyone a pretty handy roadmap because some days, as we said, might be pretty quiet and only find a race or two to bet in, and others will be quite busy. So I think it's good to give everyone just a bit of a roadmap on how to, how you're going to approach the day. If you yourself are having any early bets, it's probably pretty rare these days, but it does happen. Will you mention them in this post?
Yes, yeah. So if I think we're going to take an early price, I sort of do
Yep.
put them in more so on the Wednesdays, but maybe some Saturdays. But generally, the market, they don't really make any mistakes, or if they do make mistakes, they make them 2 days before, which is just way too early to bet anyway.
Yep.
So most of the time, you're just sort of better off waiting. But sometimes we do sort of take them. Sometimes I probably should, in the past, I probably should have taken it a bit more. But yeah, so it would be an alert would come out in the morning that we're going to bet in 15 minutes, and then it'll basically be we might have half the bet on it at the early price if I think it's going to shorten.
Yeah.
But a lot of the horses nowadays, the bigger teams, that they're happy for some before they want some volume in the markets before they shorten them up anyway.
Okay.
Because they can get more on then. So a lot of the horses sort of hold up and sort of
Pretty rare that we do have an early bet these days, but if we do, you'll let everyone know in the morning. So once everyone's got the links for the downloads, the ratings and the prices, and also Trev's summary of the day in the morning, the next thing they'll see is this post here, which is labeled as Trev's bets. This is, I think it's important just to make clear to members exactly what Trev's bets represents. These aren't bets that you yourself are generally having straight away in the morning, but what Trev's bets is there are obviously punters out there who might be busy on the day or who might only be able to have a quick bet in the morning and then, have to go off and do other things. So for those punters, for the benefit of them, this Trev's bets post just shows the bets that if you just had to have a bet early in the morning and that was it, these are the ones you'd be backing. Is that right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So originally there were 2 services, and so it was a shorter version service, and then all the guys who got the rating service got this shorter version service as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so sometimes they might be the price that I'm looking for, but so it might be slight unders. And also then what will actually happen, sometimes the horses will shorten up that much in the morning that by the time it gets to near the race, they're actually not betting race, finished up betting in the race anyway. So it's not set in stone, but is a winning service overall. So if you're time poor and that's what you want to do, I wouldn't stop you from doing it, but it's not exactly what I do. But, well, within reason. Ideally, I would be on these horses.
Yep.
But it just depends as it gets closer to the race, as long as there's still value. So, I mean, as it turned out, we were on all 3 of these horses.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the guide is ideally, and in terms of the best approach, you'd be sitting around betting all day along with you on the updates. But yeah, if you have to just bet in the morning and then get on with your day, then this is the post for you. And yeah, it'll just give you a few bets to have throughout the day. The other thing we bang in there is just the quaddie numbers, because the quaddies aren't official bets on your system, but a lot of people do ask for them because they might be having a group quaddie or something. So we just bang the quaddie numbers in there so that everybody's got your opinion.
Yes, and generally they're just they're the chances, I think, in a race. Sometimes I might leave something out because it's really bad value, and sometimes I'll put horses all the way up to 20-1 because I think it's a wide open race.
Sure, probably a good time now. I mentioned in the first update of the day, along with those speed maps there, you get the rating sheets that have got all your rated figures on there. So I've just opened the Excel version, which is what you can see just here, just to give everyone an idea of how they work and what you see. So yeah, it's basic form information. So number, last 10 starts, horse, trainer, jockey, barrier, weight, your map comments in there too. So where you think it'll settle. And from there, we've got your rated prices. So this column here, it's column J on the spreadsheet, is the rated price that you've given each horse. The corresponding market percentage is there as well. And also based on that, the recommended stake, which is to collect 5 units on your rated price. So in terms of rated prices, that's the odds that basically you think they should be, which to your 90% market. You know, in very basic terms from there, we're looking for the overlays, aren't we? So we're looking for...
Yeah, we're looking to back. Yeah, so technically in this market here, if we backed every single horse,
yep,
we would outlay, that was an over, we would outlay in dollars $453, which is the total at the bottom,
yep,
and that would be to return $500.
Yep.
Now you're not going to do that,
yep,
because you're not going to back every single horse.
I
think one of the things is we bet to return 5 units, which is 500. Well, the way this is set up is $500, and so 1 unit is $100.
So just as an example, not this particular race, the way we played it, but just as an example, we've got these columns here, which, if you want to use the Excel sheet throughout the day, you can just click in the play column here. You can click back, save, or scratched. The majority of horses will back unless you want to have a saver. There's also the scratched option there. So if a horse is scratched after you send the sheets out, people can just click that, and it takes that horse out of the field and redistributes the percentages amongst the others. So that's really handy if there's a late scratching and you need to adjust the prices and the stakes. You just hit that scratch column, and you can do that for however many scratchings there are, and that'll take it out of the race.
I do send out another sort of update market, because I sort of do it slightly different.
Yep.
But generally, it's almost, it's pretty close to that. So if you didn't see the thing and you just did that, you wouldn't be far out.
Yep. So just for an example, if we were going to back Princess Renee's, we just put back in that the odds that we back it at. Again, we've marked it 260. Say, for an example, if it was available at $3.50, we can just put the price in there as $3.50, and you'll see there that it calculates. So our total outlay so far, because we've just backed the one horse, is $192. We've backed that at $3.50, and our race profit overall at the moment, because it's just our outlay, is minus $192. We might back another horse. For example, if we backed number 6, which is priced at $33, again, just do the same, put in, say, $45 if that's the price we got. And again, that adds through. Races then run over here in the result column. Example, again, we didn't get the winner, but if we had it, you just put the 1 in there as the result. It records it as a winner. There's your collect. Race profit of $465. And this little summary up the top here is a summary as we move through the day of all the races throughout the day. So that helps you keep a running total of how much you've outlaid and how much you've collected throughout the day. So that's just a quick look at how the sheet itself works. If people want to use that to track their own betting throughout the day, again, you can just delete or add in whatever you want there, just to keep a track of how you've bet. But it's important to note, I think, and the way the service operates throughout the day, is that you advise which horses you're backing yourself. So again, you will have said at the start of the day in your first post, here's a bit of a guide to the day, and here's how I'm going about things. But as we move throughout the day, you'll send updates to everybody. As we see here, you did in race 1, you also did in race 2. Basically, just give everyone an update of what you're doing. Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, the results are run on actually what I say I'm doing. So these are the bets that I'm having. Sometimes I'll let winners go, and if there's overs in the race, and then you want to bet in the race. It's nothing to say that you can't, oh, you shouldn't be doing it. Or it's just that, maybe I didn't. What happens sometimes, the market really changes late. We put out a survey last year, and then most guys sort of wanted to know what they were doing 10 minutes before.
Yep.
So that's what we do. Sometimes the value can appear in the last minute and a half. With one of the big teams that want to flip the market in another direction, and then by then it's just too late to send something out. And so I might stay out. If you think there's value, there's nothing wrong with sort of, as long as you're taking over the odds, there's nothing wrong with having a bet, sort of thing. So as I say, sometimes I get a little bit conservative. I like to win. So when I'm winning and having a reasonable day, I tend to go a bit more conservative towards the end. That's just me.
Yeah, it's interesting, as we said, given that, and the real value in this this membership is this is the whole day. You give out rated prices, not for every runner in every race, like you leave out the ones that are no hope at all. But
yes, so that's one thing. So if the horse is not priced, then I've priced it at over 100 to 1.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, you'll if people want to go along and have a bet in a race, or if people want to bet in every race, nothing at all stopping you from doing that. That's your call. But one thing that we do try to push home to people is it's all about value. So that rated price column there, column J, that's what we're looking to get. So if you can get a price above that for any of these horses, that's a value price, and that's what you should be backing. But even if that rated price there is a value price available, again, sometimes Trev himself won't bet just because he's not 100% confident in the race or whatever. If you want to back all the overs in all the races, go ahead and do it. That's the way to do it. If you want to follow Trev exactly, that's why he sends out these updates throughout the day, just to let you know what he's doing as we just go through the day. Sometimes you'll say straight away, when you're not confident in a race, that I'm not betting in this race, or I'm not betting in the next two races. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. So with Saturday, we bet in the first race. We bet in the second race. Third race was just a terrible race, and I basically nearly had every horse in the market. So, you're only sort of nitpicking which ones you're going to be on. So we didn't play there. Race 4 was only a field of 4, and there was a new horse from New South Wales. So the interstate horses, I sort of rate them myself, but it's not sort of, I wouldn't dive by them where I'm at with the Victorian ratings. So there wasn't, and they were short odds anyway. Race 5 was sort of the same. The favourite was interstate. It was an Adelaide horse. Race 6. I wanted to play in race 6 originally, but I wanted to back the two favourites, and I wanted to back the top 8. But, on my prices, they were taken up, 70-something%. So there's just no margin. That's what happened. And actually the top 8 beat one of the other two. So it was just the way it was. And then race 7 was the same. It was sort of Jigsaw wasn't really much value. And then we played in race 8. We're on one. The winner drifted on. It sort of drifted on Betfair. I do back a lot of horses Betfair SP. Generally, it's the best price for most of the horses in the race.
Yep.
That except for the ones that have sort of been heavily backed. Sometimes horses that are solid in the betting might pay slight unders, but overall, compared to the best hope, but overall, it's just a good product. It's easy. You can. So I say on the sheet, we'll better back any overs Betfair SP minimum price.
Yeah, so I was going to go through that. As I said, sometimes you'll say backing this now at best of the best or something, but quite often we'll just want to back the overlays, or you'll say something like you've said here in a few races, we'll back any overs Betfair SP minimum price. And, a lot of people ask, if I've got all these prices here, which rated prices that you've sent out, I've got to sit there and monitor each and every horse in the betting throughout it all, just to see if we can get a value price about them, which is obviously pretty hard to do, and particularly at the end when, the end of betting when prices are jumping around a lot. So the product you use a lot's Betfair SP, and you often say, I'm backing the overs Betfair SP. And the reason for that, if we just bring up Betfair, is it just makes it so easy. So just because it's Monday and there's racing at Newcastle, I've got a race at Newcastle up here, but they all work exactly the same. So just to show people how it works, you've got all your prices here. Make sure just here your Betfair SP columns tick so that you've got the SP option here. And the way it works is, although Betfair SP is a starting price, so it's a bit like a tote price. You don't know what it's going to be till after the race jumps. But the advantage of Betfair SP, for example, if I look at number 7 here, Drachenfels, at the moment it's about $4.70. If I press SP, I want to back at SP. Got this little box here that says set SP odds limit. Now, our example we'll give here for Drachenfels, if, for example, Trev, you'd rated Drachenfels at $5.50, you can actually put that in there in the minimum odds, $5.50. Put your stake in, say it was $100. You hit place bets. I'm not signed in, but what that does then is, because you've got the minimum odds of $5.50, it will put a bet on at Betfair SP. If Betfair SP is $5.50 or more, i.e. its value at your rated price, then you'll have the bet on. If Betfair SP is less than $5.50, then the bet won't be placed. So that's a really handy and an interesting way to do it, because as it's a minimum price, you can basically, you can go down and back as many horses as you want. For each one of them, put your rated price in, and then the bet will only go on if it's paying more than your rated price.
Yeah, that's right. So basically how I use it is, about 3 minutes out, something like that, I'd sort of just go through and check. And then the ones that are close, the ones that are nowhere near my price, I don't worry about.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are well overs, I don't worry about, because I just back them straight away anyway. And so it's only 2 or 3 horses that, so it doesn't take that long. You just put in the minimum price, the thing. So the other day we were on one on Thursday, and then one of the members asked me about, because it hit right on the number of $6.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what price I had it. And then he just sort of said about, like, with the Betfair with the commission coming out, I don't put that in to start with. We're paying 7% or whatever it is.
7%.
Some might be paying slightly less, but I think it's 7% now. If it hits right on the number, and the 7%'s added in, we're not actually outlaying 90%, so it doesn't become 97%. So in most races, I'm just looking, at, say, race 3, where the total outlay backing all the horses is, say, $450. I think the most we would outlay would be $300. So it's, even though with a commission it's still a result. What happens is when the results are tallied up and put on the website, the commission's taken out then.
Yeah.
So if you look at my win race, whatever it is, the profit and loss and all that, then the commission's taken out then. But it's just a bit too difficult, in the heat of the battle, to sort of worry about that. So I'm happy taking it. There's nothing wrong with, sometimes just, not so much putting in the SP price and just taking the price and hoping, and if it pays 10 cents less, it pays 10 cents less, as long as there was enough fat in all the others. But in an ideal world, you sort of just put in the minimum price and for the couple of other horses and just go from there.
Yeah, so I mean, people bet obviously all over the place, bet with bookies or bet with bet with your corporate bookie or whatever. But I think you explained last week that you tend to do the majority of stuff with Betfair, and I just thought we'd take everyone through how to use that minimum price on Betfair SP, because, as I said, it's a really good way to do it. Like, if you know, if Trev's rated price is $4.80 and it's sort of buzzing around there over and under, then you're not sure whether to bet or not because you're not sure if you're going to get the price, then it's a really good way to do it because, as I said, you put your bet in. If it pays $4.80 or greater, you're on. And if it doesn't, the bet won't be placed. So,
yeah, and you don't want to take too much unders. I mean, there was one the other day, I think was hovering around, it was like $11, and I had it round to that sort of price, and it was hovering around that. And I was like, oh, I'll just wait, no, or maybe I'll just, hit the SP and don't worry. And then next thing was like $8.20, and I was like, oh, beautiful, I'm not on it. So, and that's the other thing. Sometimes, we had a little run where I was sort of just saying, oh, we're just going to back all the overs.
Yep.
And then it became a bit like, lotto. You didn't know until SP went up, you didn't know which horses you were going to be on. And I thought, well, that's just a bit silly. So, an ideal world, we know what horses we're on. There might be one, maybe two horses tops that are sort of around the price. We're not 100% sure we're going to be on them.
Yeah.
But, overall, if we've got the odds in our favour, it'll just sort of work out.
Yeah. And if you're really unsure, this screen I'm on now on Betfair, we won't be able to see here because the race is some time away. I think it's half an hour away. But when they do jump, this little marker on the right-hand side here takes a couple of seconds after the jump, but it'll pretty quickly show which horses you have got on. So, if you are a bit unsure what the SP is, then if you stay on this page when the race jumps, you'll see pretty quickly what you're on.
Yeah, so where the blue SP is,
yep,
the price will go into there, so you'll know. And then also over where the horse's name is, it'll basically say whether it's a profit or loss on the race.
Yeah. So
you can sort of pretty much, so once they've gone, 30 metres, you sort of pretty much know which horses you're on, which horses you should be barracking for.
Sure. So that's us. Basically just to give everyone a bit of an idea how a day on the punt with Trev generally works. As we said earlier, you get the Trev's bets early if that's what you need to do, and bet early and forget about it. If you're going to follow on throughout the day, the golden rule is take value, make sure you're betting overlays on Trev's prices. And if you want to bet in every race, then up to you, go for it. If you want to follow exactly what Trev's doing, just stay tuned to the updates throughout the day, and you'll tell everyone what you're doing yourself.
That's right.
Beautiful. All right. Well, that'll probably about do us for today, I reckon, Trev. So thanks for your time. As usual, if anyone's got any questions, just shoot them through, and we'll get them over to Trev, and he'll be able to answer them. Thanks for that, Trev.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Thank you.